Hey, Rosie here with another online dating tip for you, and today I'm going to teach you how to collect evidence, proof, for the embassy. Whichever embassy it is, when it comes to visas, you're going to actually have to prove a lot of things. And I just want to mention before I go deeper into this, those people who are leaving comments about, my guy has sent me an invitation letter and he has, offered to pay for my flight ticket and, my visa fee and everything. He's catering for everything. And then you guys are like, how do I move forward? I just want to mention this. The first thing that the embassy is going to be looking at, when it comes to this visitor's visa, because you're going there with an invitation, the first thing they're going to be looking at and they are going to require you to prove is relation. Like, how do you know this person? If you say that I have met this guy on Afro Introductions and we've been chatting now for 6 months and now he has invited me to go and visit him, that's not going to work, okay? So these people who are telling you, I have sent you an invitation letter, why don't you go to the embassy and just get the visa and come over, you need to tell them it's not possible. If you have not met in person, it's going to be very difficult for you to get a visitor's visa. So I just wanted to mention that, because don't let somebody, sort of tell you and then you feel some type of way like, he's pressuring me. Why am I not getting the visa? You cannot get the visa until he actually comes and see you, because the grounds of him inviting you is maybe you guys are saying you're in a relationship. How are you in a relationship? You have never met in person. Okay, so this video, I think it's gonna be a part 1 and part 2, because time is already running out. Okay, so let's go to the evidence collection. Okay, the proof. When it comes to, I always give an example with the American visa, American embassy, because you guys, a lot of you are dealing with American embassy. Let's talk about K1 visa, for example. This is a fiancé visa. Your boyfriend has to come over to your country. He has to ask your hand, he has to engage you, he has to ask you to marry him, and you have to say yes. Well, if you want to say yes. If you don't want to say yes, then you don't get engaged. So if you guys love each other and you're ready to get married, then of course you say yes, he gives you a ring. You need to take lots of pictures during that engagement party, because this is part of the evidence collection. Take a lot of pictures, a lot of videos. Okay, part 2 on how to collect proof for your relationship when it comes to, we are giving an example with K1 visa. Okay, so the guy has proposed to you and you have said yes. You guys have taken a lot of pictures and a lot of videos. Then it's time now to start, printing things, because what happens in most embassies, whether it's US embassy, British embassy, any embassy actually, you're not allowed to go there with your phone or your iPad or anything like that. All electronic devices are going to be left with security. So all evidence that you're collecting, it needs to be printed out. The chats, you need to print them out. The emails, the pictures, you need to print them out. When it comes to videos, you're going to save them in a disk, in a flash disk, and then that one, the security usually puts it separate with other things that you have submitted to the security, because maybe the officer will ask for the video. So if the officer asks for the video, you're going to say that you have left a flash disk at the security desk. So they are probably just gonna call and give you, because you give your details when you're leaving your things with security. Every person, you're going to have like a locker sort of thing, and your things are going to be there, and they're going to have your name, and you're going to have a piece of paper also, containing your details. So when you go to collect your belongings, obviously you can submit whatever they give you, so you can collect your belongings. So I'm saying this to say that if the officer requires you to submit the flash disk with the videos, you are just going to say yes, I do have it. It's with the security, and then of course you are going to authorize the security to bring it over. Okay. So what you need to do is when it comes to flight tickets, and when it comes to like hotel receipts and all these things, you are not to throw any piece of paper whatsoever. You are not supposed to throw anything away. You're supposed to print everything out. And some documents, you guys should actually email each other the documents. That way you have, in case you lose something, you can always, go and print it out again. So this is how you collect evidence. Make sure you have a folder and you're just keeping everything you're putting in that folder, because it's going to become very handy when you need to prove your relationship. And I also said, when you're taking pictures, when your boyfriend is coming to visit, even before you get engaged, the first time he comes, you must take as many pictures as possible with your friends, with your family, because you need to show that your relationship is not a secret. It's an open relationship. Everybody knows you're together. Okay, in one of my previous videos, I was talking about people who are sending you invitation letters, and then they think that you can just go to the embassy as long as he has volunteered to cater for your flights and everything, that you can just go to the embassy and get a visa. Okay, today I just want to give you tips, and I want to share my own experience, things that have gone wrong when it comes to visa applications, okay? Let's again go back to the US Embassy. So there was a time I applied for a visitor's visa. I had the invitation letter and everything. So the first thing I want to tell you is that the embassy is going to look at 3 points, okay? They're going to look at 3 things. The first thing being the relation, as I said. You need to prove that you actually know each other in person, okay? Okay, once you pass that test, they are now going to look at ties to your country to show that you have a reason, like there's something compelling you to go back to your country, okay? You are not gonna go and stay in the US, you're going back to your country. So ties to your country. Another thing that they are going to look, and this is the third thing, is your ability to sustain yourself in the US. Even if the guy is catering for everything and you're going to live in his house and things like that, they still want to see that if something goes wrong or for whatever reason, that you can be able to, like, as I said in one of my previous videos, you're able to book a hotel, you're able to sustain yourself for the duration of your stay in the US. Or any other country, by the way. This applies to a lot of countries, including European countries. You have to show that you can actually sustain yourself, if you need to, okay? So what I need to say is that when you're applying, if you get to that point that you think you can succeed in this visa application, what I need to caution you about is putting a long duration, okay? Like you apply, and then in the application form, you say that you're going to stay there for 2 months, okay? If you're just going there to visit, if you say you're going there to stay for 2 months, that could be a problem. Like 8 weeks in somebody's house just for a visit. Just put a very short time, because that also reflects on your bank account, because obviously they are going to look at your bank account. So just look at your bank account, look at your bank statement, and see how many days you can sustain yourself in the US based on your financial ability, okay? So if you see that according to the money you have, you can maybe sustain yourself for, let's say, 10 days or 10 days, then of course you say you're going there for 10 days, all right? Obviously, the visa is not going to be valid for 10 days. The visa is going to be for longer. You can always change your ticket. And today we are continuing with our series about visas. And today we are in the last stage. Like when you get the visa, what's next? Are you out of the woods now? Can you celebrate? How do you go about it? Okay, listen, guys. I want you to be very careful. And I remember in one of that previous video, I think it was the last one, I talked about that you should put, like, let's say 10 days. You're going to visit the US for 10 days. But of course, the visa is not just going to be valid for 10 days. It's going to be for longer. And I mentioned that you can always change the ticket. Now, guys, be very, very careful. Don't change the ticket before you arrive where you're going. Before you enter that house where you're going, don't change the ticket just yet, because the details you gave at the embassy need to match the details you're going to give at the immigration on arrival at the airport in the US. So don't change the ticket just yet. If you said you're going to stay there for 10 days, just go and, let it be like that. If for whatever reason you think you want to stay longer and your visa allows you to stay longer, I'm not advocating for you to overstay your visa. I'm just saying if you want to maybe to see more of the country or whatever, you can then change your ticket once you're there where you were going. Okay, because I was watching a YouTube video where a guy was going for a church conference in the US, and he got the visa, but he actually changed the ticket before he got there. So when he got there, when he was asked to submit the return ticket showed that he was going to stay there for a long time actually. and he couldn't answer questions, because obviously the details don't match, and he was not able to go. He was actually taken back to Kenya on the next flight. He was taken back to Kenya. So guys, be very careful about this. Be careful also about what you post on social media. And I also told you when it comes to, let's say, the K1 visa, I told you I also went through like a mini interview when I arrived in the US. So remember, you are still going to answer questions when you arrive in the US. But also be very careful what you post on your social media, and especially when it comes to these visas. And also like the K1, don't post things like, oh, I can't wait to get to the US and get my green card so I can leave him and live my life or something like that. I don't know. Don't post your dramas on social media. And also, if you are going there on a visitor's visa, don't go on social media saying, I'll see you in 5 years or in 10 years time. Don't do that, okay? You have to be very careful. You have to also be careful with people that you inform about your visas, people you call to celebrate. Be careful. You have to be paranoid until you get there. Okay, so it's time to clear the air. My previous videos, the ones I posted about visa applications, were received with mixed feelings. With some people coming after me and accusing me of discouraging them from going for their visa interviews. Others also came sharing stories about people who have been granted different types of visas without actually meeting the people who had sent them the invitation letters. So the embassy is just, they're just granting visas. You get a visa, you get a visa, everybody gets a visa. Listen, guys, the reason why I share my stories and the reason why I share my experiences with you is to try and save you from the trouble that I went through, from losing money, from crying even, and also to prepare you, like to have like your checklist, make sure that you have everything. So if you go for that visa application, at least you will have a chance of succeeding. I also share these tips based also on things that I have heard from my friends who have gone through, visa applications and they had been denied. Myself, I was actually denied a Greek visa when my husband, before we got married, I wanted to come and visit him, and I had everything. I had absolutely everything. I had one of the best health insurances from AIG. That's a reputable company. I had everything, but I was still denied. So, I'm not saying that you cannot travel to the US or to Europe if you haven't met you haven't met in person. You can still apply for a tourist visa. For the US, you can go for B2. That one covers tourism and people who are going to visit family and friends and people who are going to the US to attend events and things like that. Don't go for B1 because B1 is for business, people who are traveling to the US for business conference and things like that. When it comes to Europe, you can go for Schengen. You can just go, you can go as a tourist. As long as you know that you have the resources, you have the insurance, you have the money in the bank, you have ties to your country so they can see you're gonna come back. Hey, go for it. I am not saying that you cannot get a visa. You can just apply and get your visa. Okay, I don't work for these embassies. I don't tell embassies what to do. So you just go for your visa interview. So I have absolutely nothing to do with whether you're gonna get the visa or not. I just share tips to help you prepare, okay? And to help you, so you don't lose money. Because the visa fee is non-refundable. Whether you get the visa or you don't, the money is gone, okay? It's gone.